good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following confession that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to us by one of our dear brother, and it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Please post my story as anonymous. I am such a lonely man. At least I listen to your confessions before I go to sleep. It is making me to become better in the terms of taking alcohol. I used to drink alcohol too much in order for me to fall fast asleep. Then the next morning I go to work. And now that I listen to confessions, I just put my earphones on and then I just listen and imagine these stories that you are always sharing on YouTube. Please do not share my profile with anyone. So, brother, I want you to post for me as anonymous. I am a South African man. It was in the year 2011 when me and my wife, we started to fight over things that has to do with vanity. My wife was someone that wanted money and I could not provide in way I was supposed to as a man. And what really broke my heart was that my wife then started dating her superior. When she started dating her superior, it was so painful for me because her boss was getting a lot of money and I could not even match it with my own salary. By then, I had not yet received the promotion which boosted me into the position that I got after my wife had dumped me and I had gone to visit a Sangoma. I went to a Sangoma because I wanted to tie my wife to me in terms of love so that she won't leave me. You know why my woman cheated on me? Lol, she cheated on me because her superior had bought a new car by 2012. It was the latest model, which was a Toyota Hilux. Those old Hilux bakkies. That is what got my wife interested into marrying her boss. Women and cars. I do not know how God created these women. When my wife was cheating on me, her boss was having this expensive car that he was driving. Yes, in those years, it was a bakkie that was being driven by people that had their cash. And my wife ended up being dropped at our house. We were staying in a gated complex. So I knew that whenever she was returning back to work, she would come with her boss and her boss will drop her off. This man, there was nothing that I could do to him. You know why? He had his own young brothers that I suspected to be killing other people. They were being hired to kill other people. So I was afraid to even confront him. No matter what he did with my wife, I would just pretend as if I did not see anything. I knew her timetable, that she would return back from work at what time, and then I would just go inside, even if I was sitting with other people outside, and then I would go indoors so people won't ask me. If someone would come to me and say, yo, I saw your wife, she was with this other guy, and I would just pretend as if I was not hearing that person. So this was like a middle finger to my poverty, what my wife was doing to me. I did not want my wife to leave me because I had invested in our marriage. Then I went to my village in KZN. When I went there for the holidays, it was not just a holiday to see my parents and my wife's parents because we were supposed to discuss about her cheating ways. But I also went there because I wanted to visit a Sangoma who had promised me that he was going to give me some charms. This man then said, oh, if you want some charms to make money, I will be willing to share with you some of the charms that I give to other people. I'm going to give you these charms for free, but you need to go to the river and slaughter a goat or a chicken at the river so that the river can swallow the blood of your sacrifice. So I was willing to do anything. I did not want my wife to shame our bed with any man again, and I understood that my wife had been doing this because I was a poor man. So I understood that maybe she was seduced into doing this by the superior because he was a man that had a lot of money. And I loved my wife with everything that I had, and she was like everything to me. Me and my wife, we had started dating when we were still in high school, so I could not see myself living a life whereby my wife would be staying with another man. Even though she was cheating on me, she would come back to me, and I would always forgive her for whatever that she would have done to me and would continue. For my wife was truly beautiful. When I would walk with him, I would see other people looking at my wife because of the way that she was extremely beautiful. So it would hurt me when I would want to live here, and I would be like, so if I live here right now, she's just going to move on, and she will probably will never ever think about me ever again in her life. So this made me to stay with her for a long period. When I was given the chicken, I went with it to the river. I slaughtered this chicken at the river. Then the second night, I was then told that I was supposed to go to the graveyard. We then went to the graveyard around midnight. I was accompanied by the Sangoma and his assistants, and I was told to sleep on top of a grave. This was the grave from the village where that Sangoma was staying, and he told me that the person that was lying in that grave died as a rich man. So I slept on top of that grave. They left me there. They told me that even if I see a black mamba, I was supposed to pray to God that this black mamba was not going to bite me. I did not see any snake, but as for the mosquitoes and the cold, I was shivering throughout the night, and I heard people that were talking, and these people that were talking, I did not see them. The next morning, the Sangoma came. I could not even wake up because of frostbite. I had frostbite. I was unable to wake up. So they had me wrapped inside of a blanket, and then they took me to the Sangoma's house where they gave me a warm cup of tea, and then they made me to steam. And I was told that I now could go back to Joburg, and I had the seed of wealth. All that I had to do was to wait for it to grow, but I was supposed to return back to his shrine after each and every 4 months. When we returned back to Joburg, me and my wife, I was able to buy that same Hilux, but it was white. And it made me to feel great that I now had managed to be able to buy a car. Then I started to cheat on my wife. I did this because I wanted her to feel the pain that she was making me to feel, because she was saying that the guy had a better car than the small vehicle that we had been using. I then got a promotion. When I divorced my wife, I told her that I could not forgive her for the things that she had done to me. She was supposed to return back to her lover. I was working already in a government department, but I received a promotion. My career just flew. When I received the promotion, suddenly I was the one on top signing the documents. I even had a private office. I was someone that was feared by everyone. So I would return back to KZN after each and every 4 or 3 months, just like I had been told by the Sangoma, to make sure that I always return back to him. But as a human being, you end up forgetting, because you are now living a life that is a plentiful life. You won't keep on returning back to that shrine. This one, I tell you. So I ended up not going back to that Sangoma because I thought that I had already done the work. When I did not go there for nearly 7 months, that was when he sent for me. A Tokoloshi came to me, and when this Tokoloshi came to me, it told me that it wanted blood. I did not have any blood to give it to the Tokoloshi. It rushed back to the village from where I come from, where my mother was. My mother died of malaria here in South Africa, in our country. Someone dying of malaria, but she passed away because of that disease. I still remember the day when we collected my mother's body from the funeral. There were tokoloshis that were accompanying us. These tokoloshis, they belonged to that sangoma, but there was nothing that I could do because I was the one that had broken the covenant. I later went to that traditional healer and I told him that this was what had happened. My mom had died, and I was seeing things. I was seeing tokoloshis even when we were at the cemetery. And he told me that it had to happen because I had not honored my part of the contract. So then my other brother, he passed away. I could not understand. I returned back to KZN. I was then given a seed that I was told to keep in one of the flower bed at our offices in the department where I am working here in KZN. So this seed, it only grows at night. Then when it is in the morning, when the sun has come out, it returns back into the soil. This seed, the way that it grows, it is like an aloe, but it has flowers like roses that will be dripping blood. This is the blood of my colleagues that have been killed by my tokoloshi. It goes back into the soil because it does not want to be killed by the gardeners that will be busy trimming and taking care of the flowers. So I planted it. There is no one that even saw me. The difficult part was when I was supposed to water it with my own urine. I did it, but it was a risky move because there were security guards that guard our building. So from there on, I started losing colleagues and they were being killed by my tokoloshi. I never sent any tokoloshi against any of my colleagues, but the tokoloshi will just go there. So people that I work with, they have passed away. I can't tell you the number of my colleagues that I have lost, just in case someone will end up listening to this confession who works in the department where I am working. Usually it is a heart attack. Another one can have an accident. Another one will just die and they'll be seeing terrifying things. And people do not even know that my mood team is the one that is killing these people. By the year 2017, the majority of the people that I found working in the department, they had already passed away. I had divorced my wife and I was dating so many women and I did not find any woman that was fit enough to become my wife. So this tokoloshi started manifesting itself into my life and it told me what it wanted, which has brought me to your page, Brother Nashim. Since that time when this tokoloshi manifested itself to me, he then told me that I am supposed to sleep with women and it only wants these young women, and this is what is making me to be afraid. At our department, Pronash, we have a lot of interns. They come and they go, they come and they go. It is like a revolving door. So this tokoloshi says to me, it loves to sleep with these young interns that are straight from university. It forces me to target these interns, and I use my position in the department to sleep with these young girls so that their wombs can be cursed before they even have babies or get married. I do not sleep with an intern that has given birth before. I sleep with one who has never stayed with a man, like getting married, and who has never had a child before. So every year when a new group of interns arrives, then the tokoloshi will choose, because it knows that this one has had a pregnancy, removed a pregnancy. If I refuse, because this is something that is illegal, you can go to prison for a long time using your position in the government to sleep with interns that you are supposed to train in your department. If I refuse, the tokoloshi, it beats me up. I wake up, sometimes I do not even go to work because I'll be having real bruises. And if I refuse, it keeps on beating me. It comes and it ties my hands and it starts to punch me whilst it is sitting on my chest and I won't be able to breathe. It can only release me after I would have agreed to do the satanic things that it wants me to do with these young women. I've been sleeping with intents since that time that this Togoloshi manifested itself to me. I am using my position to promise them permanent jobs, to give them nice money, to keep them quiet, but I am full of shame. I am afraid that one day I am going to be exposed on social media or in the media, and you know that right now, if something goes out, if one of these girls speaks out, then I am done. I might go to prison. I am old right now. I am afraid to tell you my age. I have no friends, because when you have a Togoloshi does not want you to have friends. It wants you to stay alone. I stay in a big house all by myself, and even if this Togoloshi comes to me and it finds me with a woman, it gets jealous because it just wants us to have a conversation at night. Then I can leave the woman that I will be with. Then I go into another room where I will have a conversation with it. It will be telling me that it wants blood. We would be talking about it throughout the night. So here I am scared that one day I am going to get arrested. I do not know what am I supposed to do, because I know that some of my peers who are working in the government, they know that I am in a dangerous legal position. I am caught up in a legal trap. This thing that I am doing with the intents, it is called sexual harassment and abuse of power. And these women, if anyone becomes a whistleblower, then it means that it will bring me down. I am caught, because if I refuse to do this Togoloshi, it is going to beat me, because it beats me day and night. I know that I have to stop this cycle of abuse immediately, but the problem is that I am being physically beaten. I need help. I need high-level spiritual deliverance from any person that knows what they are doing. I do not want a spiritual leader that will ask for more blood, or that will say, give me money in order for me to assist. I do not want to negotiate with a spirit that has been demanding me to keep on harming these young girls. It is so painful. I want to know from your listeners, can you advise me to contact Public Service Commission or any legal aid center? What are the chances of me getting arrested if I do what we call self-reporting exit strategy from your department before you get yourself arrested? Is it something that you can recommend, or you are not supposed to recommend? And I also advise those that are interns to not to just sleep with anyone at work, because you do not know whom you are sleeping with. The person that you might be sleeping with might be having a Togoloshi like I do have. And these young women, most of them, they even approach me, seduce me, but they do not even know that they are seducing a person that has a Togoloshi. And since these girls, they are young, I'll start to use them in rituals so that in the future they won't be able to live a nice life, and they'll start to struggle. They'll become promiscuous because they would have slept with my Togoloshi. I just want other young women to know, and I need advice. If I self-report, what will happen to me? Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us speak with him in the comment section. He needs advice. He's saying, if I self-report, then what is going to happen to me? Will I get in more trouble if I self-report? That is what he is asking for. Let us try to assist him in the comment section. That was the message that I had for you. Let us meet again in the following episode.